Good morning. This is day 119 on my hike from Mexico to Canada on the Pacific Crest Trail. It is just before 6:30 a.m., so I'm very happy with the start time I've got. I slept pretty good, woke up a time or two, but honestly, all factors considered, pretty happy with how the night went. And I'm pretty happy with how yesterday went. I think I realized by a video timestamp I got into Mazama Village after 6 p.m. and then I was gone by 9:30, and I did all the tests that I mentioned yesterday in the video. So I have quite a big day ahead of me. So I'm taking the alternate to go around the Crater Lake Rim, which is going to be quite a climb to get up there. If I stayed on the normal PCT, it's very flat. I looked over the next 30 miles. It was less than 3,000 feet in elevation gain and descent. So, well, that would be a lot easier. This rim trail is what the PCT used to be, and it's going to be worth it, I think, having seen Crater Lake before. But the only thing is I've got a 4-day food carry, so my pack is quite heavy. It's similar to when I left Ashland, 4 or 5 days ago. Probably pushing the limits on this new pack. So hopefully I hold up. My body is sore. It's actually like when I'm sleeping and waking up, it's really tough thinking how I'm going to do this basically every day without taking many breaks for my body to heal. I'm really sore from hiking 100 miles over the last 4 days. Hopefully my shin and knee stay at bay. I will see you all in a bit. Not staying at the campground in Mazama Village, I think, was a great call, because now I'm already back on the PCT. I wake up and you can just go. I didn't have to worry about any noise I was making last night or early this morning. I could just pee right next to my tent, right? In a campground, you gotta use the facilities. And yeah, it was the right call. It would have been fun to see any other Nobos there, PCTers. I met a couple when I had dinner that was Sobo. I'm sure there are probably a few Nobos there. Maybe. Actually, I'm not sure about that, but there could have been. When I was in Lake Tahoe or Yosemite, it's kind of fun. These certain rally points, if you will, on the trail, but it's definitely the right call. Man, I'll tell you what, just with how beat up I'm feeling, my shin's a 2 out of 10 right now, and knee's probably 2 out of 10, and then the rest of my body's just pretty beat up after doing over 100 miles, just over 100, I think it was 101 trail miles in 4 days. I'm really tempted to just take the official PCT route, which again, it got rerouted. What I'm planning to do, the alternate, which is the rim trail, is a lot harder. Really steep. I've got this heavy pack. The regular trail would be such smooth sailing, very flat, easy miles to fly right through there. But I think it'll be worth it, one, because it's going to be super beautiful, and then two, it's a little counterintuitive, but I actually kind of feel like the alternate's sort of like the real PCT, because it used to be, and then they changed it because it was too steep and horses couldn't get up. So for hikers, it's kind of considered still like the real PCT. They just don't differentiate between horse and on foot, so it's always the same trail. So since the horses couldn't do that, they moved it to a trail that they could. So I do feel like, in the spirit of my largely purist attitude out here, the rim trail it is. But man, definitely tempted to just stay on the flat, easy miles. Well, my right shin is feeling slightly noticeably worse than it was at this time starting out the last 2 days. And I think that's because I sort of irritated it yesterday a couple times. For example, when I went to collect that water in the mud, I sunk way down. I didn't anticipate going down that far, almost over to my halfway up my calf. And to stabilize my balance when that would happen, I'd have to kind of just react quickly, and I felt it like pain through it when that happened twice. So hopefully it's not going to regress anymore, but I'm feeling it in every step more than I've been. But still, it's still like maybe a 3 out of 10 now. Okay, this is the intersection, the junction, where I'm voluntarily foregoing flat, easy miles for a steep climb up to Crater Lake Rim Trail. Rim Trail. Rim Village, that's right. It's a nice brisk morning. I'd say usually by now, about a mile in or so, I'd be taking off my warm-up gear, as I call it, my fleece, but I feel very comfortable in the temperature with it on right now. I'm paralleling Dutton Creek and we'll cross it in about a mile where I'll grab some water. Wonder if Elsa's been here. My girl. Definitely feeling the work a little bit already as I slowly ascend up to the Crater Lake rim. My shin is not doing fantastic, which is not great because I thought it was basically better. I think I might have re-hurt it a little bit yesterday in the mud. Hopefully it'll warm up more. I put it at like a 3.5 out of 10 right now, but as you've noticed, it's ticking up, not down. Dutton Creek. Probably not named after Elsa or John Dutton, but you never know. It's gonna be a slog. Filling up water at that creek took a little longer. I don't know why, but I'm back climbing up. There's a crater rim, like lodge and cafe, but they're not gonna be open by the time I get there. It's only a little past 7:30 in a couple miles, so I'm not sure about water carries. There's water almost a mile off trail in 5 miles, and that's all I see over this 11-mile stretch on this rim alternate. So I'm carrying 1 liter. Worst case, in 5 miles, I'll leave my pack, walk the mile, get more water, walk back. And given the incline and elevation gain that this is going to have, I'll probably end up having to do that. Okay, this is actually Dutton Creek for sure, and I did pass it this morning when I filmed last time. It was an unmarked creek, or I didn't look more detailed maps, but I think it might be the same one winding. I'm not positive, but just want to clear the record. Not like it matters. They probably all look the same, but this is the one named after the Dutton family of Yellowstone. It's quite the climb with this pack on. So, I just got here. So it's Rim Village, Rim Drive. There's cars going by. I just saw 2 people hiking up there. Here comes one of my own, a Wrangler. Okay, so the village is down this road to the right. Crater Lake, you can kind of start to see, I think, down to the left there. The cafe or the restaurant doesn't open breakfast till 10 a.m. and it's currently a little past 8. So I think I'm just gonna keep pushing here. Just gotta find the trail. Oh my gosh, there it is. My first sighting of it this time around. It's absolutely beautiful the way it's reflecting. You can see there's some smoke in the air still from the emigrant fire, but wow, this is a special place. I don't know, the first time I was here too, I was here 10 years ago, 2015. Wow, so much has changed in my life since then. A lot of experiences, a lot of growth, a lot of different directions my life has taken turns to, but it's a constant And obviously the topography and little things are changing here too, but constant force right here. Oh, I just stopped for a second to try to FaceTime my parents, but it's Sunday. I think they might be at church. It's Central Time, so it's 8 a.m. here. But yeah, this is a beautiful backdrop, and I had 2 bars of service, so I'm gonna keep moving. Since being here the first time, I was at Lake Bled in Croatia, and it kind of reminds me of it a little bit. Very beautiful, very, very beautiful. I think this is one of the most beautiful things I've seen in this whole PCT, so I'm so happy I did this trail. I feel like I still have quite a climb ahead of me. I think it's just halfway there, but I mean, look at this, just so cool. Wow, this is so cool. I love Crater Lake. Look at this, oh my gosh. Still a little snow over there. This is incredible. Something about the fact that I've walked here this time, just, I don't know, this is so much more, this is more like meaningful in a way, just different than when I drove here. It's hard to explain. I feel like I earned this one. I'm feeling really happy right now. Like, something about this moment, one of the happiest I felt on all trail. I think it's because it's reminding me of Europe, like Lake Bled, and maybe I have such good memories of traveling there. Also just the beauty, just really grateful for how I'm feeling right now. I'm grateful for being up early and here. I'm feeling very blessed today, and hopefully my injuries don't get too bad, but this is just a really special morning here. I obviously have a lot of miles to get in general, and that trickles down to each day, but I'm gonna take my time, I think, on this rim trail and enjoy it. Definitely one of the highlights of the trip for me. Not sure if the camera captures it appropriately. This is insanely steep. Understandably, I mean, it's a hollowed out volcano, I believe, if I remember from last time, so like water then collected in here. So it's like, you can see the cliff just like straight down. Man, it's so cool. I briefly turned on my service, so I could try to FaceTime my parents, and then messages started flooding in. I try to address them when I have a little free time in town. It's not like what I'm gonna do out here, but I happen to see someone sent me an article on the Trek, which is like a website for thru-hiking, and the person who sent it to me, her name's Eden, but her trail name's Starfish. She's hiked the PCT 3 times. Some of y'all may remember her. She's in the vlog a while ago. Well, she went to do the Colorado Trail instead of the PCT. She started on the PCT and then decided to go switch trails. And she just sent me an article about herself and 2 other hikers on the Colorado Trail that got hit by an SUV. So I don't know how serious it is. It looked pretty bad with the photos of the hospital. They were walking on a highway, and the SUV basically ran them over. So thoughts and prayers go out to Eden. She's a really sweet girl, great human person, and that she has her and the other people she was with have a quick recovery, and there's no permanent damage. And then second thought is just how I've said, like, it's not safe on these highways at times, especially. And yeah, I mean, that's really scary to think about. And then the third thought was the butterfly effect. Like, she hiked the AZT, then she came here to hike the PCT, wasn't feeling it. She'd done it 3 times already, the whole thing. Decided to go on the Colorado Trail. Like, one decision. But anyways, most important obviously is her well-being. So hope that she is going to be okay, and I'll try to stay updated on that situation. just feels different today in the best way possible. I don't feel at the moment like I'm on this crazy demanding endurance mental test, day 119 through hike. I just feel like I'm on vacation, and I don't think I felt that the entire trip so far. And yeah, I think it's like a perfect temperature. It's early enough where the sun's not piercing. It's just peaceful and quiet out here, beautiful. I do smell a little bit of smoke from the emigrant fire, but it's minimal. It just feels good right now, and I'm so grateful to have some feelings like that, because they're needed. They've been needed. It just feels different walking up to a point like this versus driving to it, which I had done long, long ago. This day is going to end up being quite slow for a while because I just can't stop looking at these views. And I just met a nice couple that was here for the weekend. It is Labor Day weekend, so there's a lot of people around. But yeah, this is just so beautiful. Definitely one of the highlights of this trip, undoubtedly. So I climbed up to there. That's where the last video was taken from. Now I have to go down this and around and through where all those people are and then back up. So I think it's going to be a lot of that today, at least along the next 8 or 9 miles on this rim, up and down. And then obviously it's much higher over there. Yeah, when I saw those cars up there, there saw a couple that I was talking to. I didn't want to keep elaborating because I don't want it to come off the wrong way. Definitely don't mean it to come off pretentious or anything like that. I've driven and been to so many. That's how I've seen most of the things in America and the world, is driving there. And I'm just pointing out, like, obviously you can see everyone, all the cars, and like that's how it's done most of my touring and everything. It just feels cooler, different, like I earned it more. I don't know how to explain it. Like when I had this long buildup of walking up here and through the woods and then coming into this highly trafficked area. It's just it's almost like when you come into a town, right? Like you're kind of coming out of this rugged wilderness and then you're like thrown back into society. Like that's kind of how this feels, having walked here instead of driving to like the nice vantage points. Gotta say, with how much this is reminding me of Lake Bled, I really am feeling the urge to go to Europe, and when I still have my trail legs after this, and do a few like hikes around maybe Italy, Switzerland, some of that. I'll look into that. It wouldn't be under this crazy time crunch and deadline like the PCT, so I could enjoy it more, because this is just awesome right now. And how many times have I said that on this hike? Not too many, I can tell you that. Not too many. But this is awesome. I do want to point out real quick, from what I remember and just my intuition, or I don't know if intuition is the word, just basic logic, common sense, it's usually a lot clearer. Like you can see across. Unfortunately, there's still smoke here from the emigrant fire. That's, I don't know, based on my back of the envelope napkin math, try to measure it on the map, probably like 35 miles north and a little west of here. I got 7.7 miles to get back to the PCT on the rim trail, so back up I go. Gotta correct the record. I think I said Lake Bled was in Croatia earlier. As I'm reflecting back to that trip, pretty sure it's in Slovenia. I went to those countries. Or is it Ljubljana? Yeah, Ljubljana, Slovenia. Yeah, it's in the country of Slovenia. I went to both those countries around the same time, so I was just mixing that trip up in my head. But Lake Bled, I believe, is in Slovenia, and it's so beautiful. This reminds me of it a lot. For those of you that are familiar with Lake Bled, or if you just search Lake Bled, I'm sure it'll come right up. It's a beautiful, I'm sure you can see why this reminds me of it. There's like an island in the middle, if I recall correctly, from Lake Bled, and it's just, yeah, it gives me the same vibe. Well, hopefully this isn't overkill on videos, but it's my vlog and I can cry if I want to. I just think this is super beautiful. I mean, it is, objectively. Like each different unique angle is still just as, I'm just as awestruck when I look from this angle as I was when I first walked up. You know, at this point, it's probably over an hour ago, and I've barely probably made it half a mile, but I don't care. This is one of the really good moments of this experience and this trip. There's a boat in there. Maybe it's like a ferry or something. So cool. So cool. Alright, I've reached the point where I need to make a decision about water, and I'm going to pass. It's about a mile down to the left, or like 0.8 miles down to the left. I could leave my pack and go get it, but like, I actually haven't drank any yet from this liter I carried. And this is a gamble though, so it's hard to tell because I'm on this alternate, so there's not as much details as the normal trail, but I know there's no more water till the end of the alternate, which is like 6 or 7 miles. And it's a lot up and down. Like, it's been pretty hard with this heavy pack. And then there's no water for 9 miles after that on trail, assuming there's water at this highway where people have been doing a water cache. Otherwise, it's 17 miles or something like that to water. But this is so busy, and it's Labor Day weekend, cars and people everywhere. I feel like if I'm really in a bind, I would never rely on this, but I could probably get water from someone. So basically what I'm saying is I'm gonna try to make it the next like 15 miles on the liter of water that I haven't touched yet. It's probably a pretty dumb decision on the water, but I have a full liter already, so I mean, I'm thirsty. I'm trying to save it, but it's like, it wasn't like I was empty and then I go get it, but I don't know. I think it'll work out, but I'm gonna have to be really smart because it's just pretty steep up and down on this rim trail. All right, just passed a nice Sobo hiker, got some intel. So there is potentially a water cache at the junction in 7 miles, and then also a creek a little bit past that. So I think I'll be okay, which is good. So part of this rim trail, it says Watchman. I'm afraid I'm going up there. We are definitely heading that way. Just looked on the map. But then there's a side trail that takes you to the very top. So definitely gonna make a climb up to part of that, but I'm not gonna do that side trail, obviously. Yeah. This is a grind. You can see the highway down there that I just walked by not too long ago. It may be a few miles shorter than the official PCT, but it's definitely harder and more challenging. It takes more energy and effort. But it's worth it. Those views has probably been my favorite morning, despite how hard it's been. My favorite morning on the whole trail. It's a little bit before 10, like 7 miles, which given this terrain is pretty darn good. I see smoke on the other side, so Crater Lake's to my right. It's just views to the left. Some smoke, a lot of smoke settled in there. Oh, this is that junction to go up to that Watchman, that top structure I showed earlier. Definitely not doing that. That's not part of the rim trail. If I had more time, I would, but not gonna exert the energy. But man, look at all those cars. Crazy. It's really not. I know it must sound so silly to people watching at home. This is day 119 for me. Maybe like 15 to 20 of those days have been town days. So 100 days of just wilderness and only seeing a few hikers here and there definitely stands out. What I need to know is, am I still allowed to pee on the side? Like, I really gotta go, but I feel like with all these people, it's not acceptable anymore. And back to normal societal stuff. I just passed 5 people. Only one smiled and said good morning. Kind of looked at all of them and smiling, pleasant face. Through hiking, pretty much acknowledge everybody that goes by. At least a hello. Sometimes people don't want to talk and stuff, but I guess that's how it is when you're around so many people. Again, it's not like anything unique to see another human. When I was here 10 years ago, I drove somewhere, there was not many people, and I did a hike up, got to the rim, and then hiked down, and then I actually got in the water, and I saw a crawfish, I remember that. But I don't know where that was relative to here. Definitely wasn't here, I know that. This is Cole and your dad.
Yep,
There's,
my dad is Craig.
And Craig. They're super interested, so we just been sitting here talking. They really appreciate the enthusiasm. And Cole might do it one day, so I gave him my info. And Craig's grabbing me a beer over there. I'm so pumped. So. Good old PBR. What a nice conversation. The enthusiasm was unparalleled, and it just honestly gets me more pumped about what I'm doing, both from Craig and his son Cole, who is interested in doing it. So super cool. I'm eating my second breakfast. I'm stopped here because I just wanted to dump trash. Every ounce counts, and then I'll get back on trail. Well, that kind man actually gave me 2 beers. So I had one with my second breakfast while throwing out some trash. The second I'm carrying, especially because I don't know when I'll have more water. The Pilgrim survived on it, so can I. So I have 3/4 liter of water, 12 ounces of beer to get me about 14 miles, unless something else is there, like a water cache or a creek that I heard might be the case from Asobo. This is, I guess, to be facing west of Crater Lake. Pretty cool view. Obviously a lot of smoke in the way. I know there was a small fire directly west of Crater Lake 2 days ago. Haven't checked if it's been put out or not yet, but I would imagine most of the smoke is coming from the emigrant fire, which is like that way, 30 some miles. But yeah, this is still really nice. On the surface where I'm hiking right now, it's beautiful, but wouldn't seem all that different from really much of what I've done this whole adventure and hike. But what's so cool, I think, is knowing just to the right of this is a whole big lake. I mean, Crater Lake is literally right over the top there. Pretty cool. And you can see it's kind of interesting, like, because I've driven in my life and with my family growing up, like, to many of these scenic viewpoints to check out and maybe do like a side trail there. So it's interesting being in a park and kind of walking in between those points. Like, I haven't seen a single person on this trail, this part of it. I've passed 2 Sobos today. But, like, and then I'll get up to, like, another scenic viewpoint with the parking lot, and there'll be tons of people. So it's interesting. It looks like there's someone coming down that way. Yeah, those 2 Sobos I passed today, they must have gone up insanely early, because you're not supposed to camp on the rim trail. So that means they did everything I'm doing since I saw them, this morning. So I don't know, maybe it's easier because I had a ways to climb up, but either way, I'm pleased with my progress, given I've been kind of awestruck by the beauty of this place, which I knew, and it's pretty amazing because I've been here before, but it's still hitting me like it did last time. Little fun fact about Crater Lake: at just over 1,900 feet, it is the deepest lake in the U.S. Pretty cool. From whenever there was a volcano that like collapsed in, I guess, or whatever, and formed this crater, and it fills with water. Pretty cool to think about. So I face now my next judgment call decision. In about 45 miles, I'm gonna get to somewhere called Wendigo Pass. That is where I just talked to some Sobos. They said they talked to over 20 Nobos like me, and all but 2 of them have taken an alternate route starting at Wendigo Pass because of this emigrant fire. So technically the PCT is not closed right now, and by my standards, I should be doing the actual PCT. Now the alternate route is also, I think she said 9 miles less than the PCT. So that does not fit my criteria. It's easier, right? So I can't take an alternate unless it's harder. It's my kind of 2 criteria. I hike every mile of the PCT unless it's legally shut down, and I will allow myself alternates if they're more challenging than the actual PCT. Now, and typically that means length, but it could mean other factors like currently. So, the reason I bring this up, there's a lot of smoke on the PCT right now, and like, I don't know, it's not very prudent of me to be hiking that and breathing that in the whole time, but I have my principles, and so this is a really tough one, because it's not doing it out of laziness or boredom, or be like, oh, it's not nice scenery, or I want to just cut corners. It's like, it's a real health concern. I don't really want to be breathing in smoke for however many miles that is, and camping in smoke. Plus, then you're closer to should the winds change. Although I don't know what the status of the fire is, if it's started to be contained yet, but. It's a tough call. I've got a while to think about it and keep asking and sampling people. But it's a really tough situation to figure out. But I will make a decision at some point. I'd like to do a little update on my new gear. So I'm still very, very pleased with the shoes. Hopefully not calling my shot too early here, but I think this is day 5 now of wearing them. They're feeling pretty good on my feet, like no blisters. The extra padding and cushioning is helping a little bit. My feet are still really sore, and the backpack overall is feeling pretty good. I don't like how the top compartment, or brain as they call it, holds the weight. It kind of sags down. Same with this, they have a strap inside to sort of tighten the gear on top so it's more closer to your back, but where the bottom part of that angled strap is on the outside of my pack, further away from my back, it's too high up, so it's not grabbing enough. So that's a bit of a flaw from the last pack I had. Also, the side hip belt pockets don't close as easily with one hand as the last pack I had. But you know, these are little things you're gonna notice. But all in all, I'm really happy how it feels. Fairly comfortable on me, and it's pretty similar to the pack I had, just a little bit lighter and made of a little thinner materials. So like the hip belt buckle is not as durable, but that's how you get the lightweight too. So it's a trade-off, but all in all, pretty happy right now with my backpack, new pack, and very much with the shoes. Hopefully that remains the case. This is so cool. Just literally like being on the edge of this. So cool. So very failed attempt to sort of get myself walking by the lake. That's way too big of a frame, but I can't reach out any further. Just zoom in. I just got my dad briefly on FaceTime. So he wasn't at church earlier. He was doing Bike the Drive with my brother, which is in Chicago. They shut down Lakeshore Drive and people bike the whole way. My dad was a pretty adamant cyclist. He used to do something called BAMI, which is an acronym for Bike Across Magnificent Illinois, where you literally bike from the Wisconsin border all the way down to Kentucky border. So I guess in a way the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree here. But it was just nice to say hi to him. I want to show him this view from Crater Lake and say hi to my mom and brother, but I think I'm going to stop. There's like a nice viewpoint up here. There's tons of cars and stuff, but I'm expecting there to be another garbage can. So then I'm going to drink this other beer so I don't have to carry the can around and throw it in there. But I'm about 9.5 miles in for the day. I really have been making great pace given how challenging the terrain has been, but I've been stopping a decent amount just because it's so beautiful. So balancing out, it's I'm probably a little behind net on where I need to be for the day, but that's all right. Well, having to walk here on the highway like this, especially after I just learned about my friend, she messaged me back too. She has like, it's like the craziest litany. Like she's in a wheelchair. It says she should have been dead. She's lucky to be alive. She has like broken like 5 different things. It sounds awful, and I feel so awful for her. Her name's Eden. Starfish is her trail name. She's actually a top 1% contributor on the trek, so she's pretty well known in the community and writes articles on there. like, it's not safe. I mean, you never know. It takes one car to not be paying attention and swerve off the highway when you have to be walking there. Or I don't like these highway walks. Well, I've only got half a mile left of views of Crater Lake, so I got to make the most of it. So this is gonna be the last I will see of the actual Crater Lake. So I'm just gonna sit here, have a Quest bar, have this last beer. I didn't see any garbage cans though, and then continue on my way. But maybe take like a 5-10 minute break. I'm gonna cheers this as a thank you to Craig and Cole for the beer, and then also just in gratitude for being healthy enough, at least, to be here and to be able to do this. Definitely a really good day in that sense, and very grateful for the days that go well. I don't know if I'm out of practice or it's the terrain. Obviously I'm going to pick that up. I'm not littering. I smashed it so I could save space in my bag, but yeah, I think I'm going to say terrain, but that's pretty bush league right there. All right, goodbye for now to Crater Lake. Thank you for an amazing morning, probably the best I've had this entire hike. I've hiked about 10 miles and got to get moving, but it's been a great morning. Really tough. My legs are very sore. Felt like I was doing like deadlifts every step I took for those first like 3 miles up, and then it was just up and down around the rim, but so worth it. So worth it. This is the last view I'll have of Crater Lake for now, but I will be back, I'm sure, at some point. Minus the highway, I love how vast and open it is out there. I think I was like probably a cowboy out in Wyoming in a past life or something. Very appealing to me. Okay, I realized that detour was for cars, not for people. And that's the rim trail continues that way, but this is where my alternate leaves the rim trail. And it's funny, the comments in Far Out, like the official icon for this part, still says the PCT leaves the rim trail here, meaning like it's still from when it used to be the PCT. So I'm backtracking a little ways, nothing too crazy, but this is that construction zone. So up there is where I had my protein bar and beer, and now to the left here is where the trail will continue. And there should be a garbage saw right here so I can get rid of this can. Better yet, there's recycling that should be able to get rid of this can. Yeah, look at that. It was so hard climbing up here in soft sand. I don't even know if I'm in the right place. I'm definitely in a construction zone. One final goodbye to Crater Lake. Well, not goodbye, just ciao for now. Okay, yeah, I just did a totally pointless, crazy climb up and down. I could have just taken the road. I thought about it, but this is where it said the actual trail was. Scratch that. No, I totally screwed up here. Okay, when I pointed out the rim trail goes there, but this is where it separates from the rim. I guess I'm still taking the rim trail, so in between these two roads. I misinterpreted that little pullout as this road, and that's why I was trying to go in between and was confused. So you can actually see the trail in there. Yeah, I just wasted a bunch of time and a ton of energy, but that's okay. It happens. All right, here's the rim trail. I blame this, I mean, it's my fault, but the icon on Far Out said this is where the PCT leaves the rim trail and diverges from the rim trail. I'm still on the rim trail. Now that's obviously an old comment because that's probably when this used to be the official PCT, but no, like this is part of the rim trail and this is where I'm supposed to go to get back to what is now the PCT. So I don't know, that was confusing. It is what it is. Back on track. What a morning. All right, back to the grind. I've got about 3 miles to get to the junction for the alternate, which I think over 90% of PCT hikers take, like I just did, because it's so beautiful and it's what the PCT used to be. And it's harder, but worthwhile. I did pick up a few miles, you know, PCT miles that I didn't hike because of the alternate, but this is undoubtedly a harder route to take, and that's why I'm okay with it. So I'll be back on the current official PCT in less than 3 miles. I have barely drank any water since the first water source today. I've had only a quarter of a liter. Had those 2 beers. I don't know if that actually really helps with hydration. Some would argue alcohol, science would say alcohol is dehydrating, but then again, somehow people survive that journey coming to America off a beer, so I don't know what the case is exactly, but I'm trying to preserve this water because I think there might be a cache at this junction, but I don't know for sure, and so I'm gonna ride this liter out as long as I can because I might have to go another from where I'm at still for 12 miles or 9 miles from the junction to the next water. So Shelter Cove is my next resupply stop, like a mile or so off trail. Have a package waiting for me there. It's 85 miles from Mazama village where I picked up my resupply yesterday. So I have a ways to go to get there, but in between is the Emigrant Fire, which almost everybody's been taking a detour off the PCT because of the smoke. The PCT is technically not closed because I don't think there's a huge risk at least at the moment of the fire being there itself, but the smoke is really bad. So I got some decisions to make. I still have about 40 miles to that point. All right, I just a few minutes ago got to this junction. This is the PCT. This is the alternate for the Crater Lake Rim Trail. 0.1 miles that way is a highway where there's a big water cache. I have this much water. I just took a big sip. That's all I've drank today since that creek, plus those 2 beers. It is 8.6 miles that way to the next water source, which is also a water cache under a highway. It would be prudent of me to walk over there, leave my pack here, just 0.1 miles, nothing, get some water and come back. However, these 8 miles are almost like very flat. I think the elevation gain was like 400 feet and the descent was like something around there too. Like it's basically actually flat. It is peak of the day though. It's like coming up at 1 o'clock. And that's a long ways to go before stopping for like lunch. Already like 15 some miles in or so. I guess it'd probably be like a few more, given I picked up a few from the PCT, but exerted way more energy going up and down that crazy climb. I also now know why the Sobos were there sooner than I was, and that's because this stretch here on the rim trail was pretty easy relative to all the other parts that I did climbing up this morning. So I think I'm just gonna go and push. I mean, I can definitely, might be a little painful for a little bit, but I can do 8.6 miles on this, I think. I just finished a quick 30-minute lunch break there, and man, did it hurt getting back up. Just general pain and soreness. I've hiked like over 17 miles today, and I'm just beat. These should be easier miles though. I've got 5.4 miles that way to get to a highway where there's a water cache, and then kind of a reevaluate on the day. I'm still in Crater Lake National Park. That highway is actually the border of the park, but this part is certainly not as interesting as the lake. Got 1 mile left to this highway and water cache. I'm okay. It's been largely flat and shaded, but there were some stretches where it was pretty exposed, and I definitely cut it a little close to this water. I think I have like 1/8 of a gallon or 1/8 of a liter left, maybe a quarter, in between 1/8 and a quarter, but I would love to just drink like half a liter right now. So probably shouldn't have been so lazy or trying to be so efficient. I should have just left my pack and gone and gotten some water from that other cache 8.5 miles back or whatever it was, but that's okay. I knew this would lead to some uncomfortable moments, but I also knew I'd be okay, which all has proven to be accurate. So, but this is the next mile can't come soon enough. I'll come back and sign that. I need to find the water. I'm good. I'm very thirsty, you know? Oh, I've made it. Maybe it's on the other side. Okay, I just signed the register. The water cache is the next road, dirt road, 0.6 miles north. I just drank my last sip of water, which is fine. I'm good. I'm very good. But I'm looking forward to that. Is that a mirage? That is a lot of water. Huge thank you to whoever maintains this. Otherwise, I'd have to be going for another like 8 miles or something. It's just crazy long. It's already been, oh man. Well, I guess 9 from that other water cache, which I didn't stop at. So for me, I've carried for like 17 miles. Gosh, I'm tempted just to camp here, some tent sites. It's too early, but I'm so tired and beat right now. Oh. Thank you. So there's not much between here and Mount Thielsen. Thielsen Creek and like campground, it's almost 8 miles, 7.7 or something miles from here. I'm pretty tired and beat, but it's not even 5 o'clock yet. If I went all the way to Mount Thielsen, that'd be quite a day. That'd put me over 30 miles of actual miles hiked, including that uphill today in the rim trail. The mileage I would record would be a few higher because of the PCT versus the alternate I took. But again, the one I took was harder for sure. And it was the original PCT. So it's not even a question. Like that was the right choice. Even like a traditionalist would go that route because that was the PCT. But I do pick up a few miles from that delta. But I mean, if I go to this Mount Thielsen, that would be actually having hiked over 30 miles. My feet are killing me right now. So they're just like fatigued, you know. So I am on the fence about what to do because, wow, look at all that dust from it. So I'm just gonna keep planning out as I elevate my feet on this log. I put them up here. Man, these like 4-wheelers going by. Thankfully, the wind's blowing the other direction. I'd be pretty damn annoyed if I was on the other side with all this dirt. Man, these bees and flies just don't leave me alone. I couldn't catch a break ever at like recently. It's just every time I stop, they swarm to me. It's so freaking annoying. Like I don't. I literally just can't relax. I'm constantly just landing on me, buzzing around. So it's like 1,700 feet in elevation gain or something like that for the next 7 miles. 7.7 miles to get to water. Or I could go 5.5 miles. There's some campsites at 5.5 miles, but I don't want to carry water for overnight. So I think I got to do, 7.5 more. That's going to put me into nighttime. And a bee just landed on my phone, like literally on the camera. Like, so yeah, my feet are just shot. So I'm debating, like, do I stay here for the night and get up early like I've been, or just try to push? So like, I just don't want to have to. It's like if I don't carry water to get to that 7.7 miles from here, which is a creek, Thielsen Creek, then I have to get there. But if I do carry water, it gives me the option, but then I'm carrying all this extra weight if I end up making it that far. So it's kind of, if I don't carry water, I'm sort of committed to getting to there, which normally I'd be good at that, but I'm just so beat up from today and the last 4 or 5 days that I'm not sure right now. I can't even think in peace because these damn bees and flies. Okay, I've made my decision. I'm going to try to do these extra 7.7 miles and just try not to beat myself up through it. So if I get there in the dark, it's gonna happen. So I just drank as much as I could, and I took 1 liter with me. And yeah, there's bees all over. They know there's water here, so they're just like swarming when I was taking it out. It was crazy. They're everywhere. So I just left that water cache with my 1 liter of water. I guess I also have the option of camping, dry camping, so not near water. And then instead of making one of my hot meals, I'll just have what I'd normally have for lunch, which is salami and cheese and a tortilla. And then tomorrow for lunch, or next day in the future, then just flip it, like have one of my hot meals. So that's definitely doable, because that's what takes a lot of water. But 1 liter to go 7.7 miles plus overnight just for drinking is not much either. So I'll probably try to make it, but I gotta be very careful. My feet are really sore. I kind of have been feeling a few odd steps in my left foot where that stress fracture was, like same feeling. So I just gotta make sure I'm really careful here not to overdo it. Today's been a great day overall. Beautiful morning, but really long and hard. This hike up's really hit me hard after all the mileage and elevation I put in today. I am trying to go at a consistent pace, but I'm definitely feeling it in a lot of places. I did just walk by a sign. There's all these little tags on trees. People write on them. Said, his Yoda quote, "Do or do not, there is no try." Hoorah. Hell no. Love that. This guy, I would imagine whoever wrote that intended to motivate people through some reverse psychology. It's a view of a diamond lake. So I just tried something, because I'm always monitoring my pace, or most of the time I am. But then there's times like I don't want to look at my watch at all and just go. So this time I threw on an hour mix, and I just would check how many miles I did at the end of it. And I did 3 1/3 miles, and it was all gradient uphill. Like I'm shocked. I'm gonna sit down for a little bit and like just let my feet rest just for like 1 or 2 minutes and keep moving. But that's pretty darn solid, especially after the long day I had in the last 4 days I had. Could not be more pleased with that. I am sore, but nothing is hurting at the moment. All right, it's 6:30. I've got 3.5 miles to go. Sunset is in an hour and 15 minutes or so. Knowing that time frame, that's why I kind of pushed myself. So I think I'm going to essentially rest here for 10 minutes maybe, and then try to repeat what I just did. That was, like I said, just coming off of the day I've had and stuff, that was pretty intense. It was all uphill. Not a crazy gradient, but enough where I'm like, my glutes are burning, but like the good burn when you have like a good workout. But yeah, I'm totally shot. My feet are like throbbing. They've been for a while today. I really just don't want to set up in the dark, but maybe it's smarter to go slower and just set up in the dark, but we'll see. But I definitely lay here for a little bit. At least I have a very beautiful backdrop of Mount Thielsen. It really sucks that the days are getting shorter. It just makes my challenge all that harder. Like every day I'm losing daylight. Well, I wanted to repeat what I just did. I was just about getting ready. I have my feet way up right now. And my headphones are dead, which is annoying. Some people use the ones with the cord out here, because then it's one thing less to charge, but I elected to take ones that you charge because I didn't want the cord getting in the way. I'm, clipping on bushes, and I think that's the right call, but this does happen a good enough amount where I can't listen to music because it's out of power. The case charges them too, but the case is dead. And this is where, like, when I got to Mazama yesterday, I charged my power banks. And then once those were charged, I briefly started charging my AirPods, but then the store closed and that was where the outlet was. So, you know, it is what it is. I can charge it later from one of the power banks. It should be okay. Just have like 2.5 more days, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can do 3.5 miles in an hour if I don't have like music to get me going, especially after a day like this. I just hit mile 1,855. Why is that relevant? Because there are 2,655 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, which means I have 800 miles left, which is a lot, but I'm going to be counting down as much as I'm counting up. I've got about 2.5 miles left to go today. I'm exhausted. I hope I sleep like a baby tonight. Oh, and I hope I don't wake up hurt or in pain. I just got to, not quite at the top. I think there's still more, but it's been quite a climb. But there's Mount Thielsen. Really cool perspective. I think where I'm going to camp tonight should have a nice view of it. I don't know if I'll get there in time, but check this out. We got Diamond Lake over there, beautiful rolling mountains, hills that way, and then beautiful peak. So I just came up from there, and the natural progression, which is how most of the trail is fairly intuitive, would think it's that way. It says Mount Thielsen Trail with the arrows, and I looked, and the PCT actually goes this way. So it does a hard, like, almost 270, 360 degree turn from there to here. That's the easy one to miss. I have no patience for any missed extra miles that I have to do because I got it wrong. These are some beautiful spots in here to camp. I am tempted, but I need water, so I got to push these extra 2 miles or 2.5 miles. Beautiful, beautiful view though. What a cool thing to see at sunset. There's definitely tons of smoke out there from the emigrant fire spilled with an EM. Okay. It's a pretty unique looking mountain. Gotta be really careful. Those rocks I'm walking on once again. It's been pretty nice. Most of the day has not been rocks. I mean, part of the rim trail, but not like this kind of stuff, but well, that kind of stuff. But I want to take in this view of this Mount Thielsen as much as I can. I did see it a ways back. I didn't know what it was called yet. I think I zoomed in on it at one point before I spoke about it, but yeah, very unique with how steep that cliff is and that curve, just sliding down with rocks. And it's got those few very jagged tip. Wow, I had to stop so I don't trip, but I want to take in this beauty. That's awesome. I know the smoke's not good, but it does add a certain mystique to it. And check out this side. Pretty badass. Okay, just crossed over another ridge. The sun is on the left of it, so I think it's going to be kind of dark here. Sunset is in 15 minutes, and I've got 1 mile to go. So time worked out pretty well. I am so exhausted, but I kind of crushed it. I'll go over some a recap with the stats and stuff when I get to camp, but just got to power through this last mile. It's beautiful scenery, and then I know there's spots I read near this water source where you kind of climb up a steep little side trail, and it's a great view and place to camp. So that's my plan. I can't wait to be horizontal once again, and actually to have this Mountain House macaroni and cheese in me. Cannot wait for that. Still got half a mile to go, but I'm going to just say this now. So I've got 4,300 of feet in elevation gain a day and 3,600 in descent. And it'll be just over 30 miles on my Garmin that I actually did. Now the miles that are going to say PCT miles is probably going to be closer to 35. And that's because the alternate was like think 4 miles shorter, 4 or 5, something like that, than the official PCT. I've already explained multiple times about that, but basically I could have flown by those miles. Were super. If I did the PCT, that elevation I just told you, it would be thousands less in both directions. Like, undoubtedly what I did today was harder, and that's my litmus test. That's the only time I'll take side trails, and usually that always means longer, but not always the case. So there's that point. I'm really pleased with how today went. My left knee was not giving me many problems. Maybe I hit the panic button on that one a little too early, but I'm obviously conditioned and a little jaded and frustrated with the injuries. And then 2, it was right at that cusp. I try not to worry about stuff unless it's been over 2 days, and it had just been around there when I kind of started getting really frustrated about it. Thankfully, it looks like that was a growing pain with the shoes, and it's kind of warmed up. I was treating it each night with massaging it, and obviously I had to take painkillers for a while, but hopefully that remains the case. But very pleased with how that's turned out. And because there's been so many injuries that like come and go that I don't even really bring up, because it's like they hurt like hell and they go away after a day or two. So and then the shin did pretty darn good overall. I'd say it peaked at like a 3.5 out of 10 pain this morning. I felt it a time or two, but almost non-existent. My plantar fasciitis has definitely been feeling it all day, at least like the last like 10-15 miles. Just today hiking over 30 miles and so much elevation and everything is just a lot. 4 days of food carry, it's heavy. So, but I'm very, very grateful for how those 2 things are feeling overall. I know I'm going to be pretty beat up tomorrow just from how long and intense today was, plus this is 5 days straight now. I've basically done 135 miles or something in 5 days. That's a lot. So might rest a little in the morning, see how I'm feeling, or just take it easier tomorrow. Because I don't want to, I kind of try to slowly build up to this 30 miles. I did like 22, then 26, then 29, now 30 something. But maybe it's prudent to take it back down for a day, maybe even 2, mid 20s or high, and then back up. We'll see how I'm feeling. So I got those things out of the way. Felt like there's one more thing I want to say. Oh yeah, where I'm going to camp now tonight, I would be very surprised if there were not other tents there, because there's surprisingly long water carries here in Oregon, and there isn't water, unless there isn't water behind me now for 7.7 miles from where I'll be camping. So I would expect a lot of sobos to be posted up here, and then nobos as well. I haven't looked going forward from here, but I'd imagine it's a little bit of a carry. So we'll see. I'm going to be getting there. It's probably just a few minutes before sunset. And because the sun's behind this ridge line, it's extra dark already. But I'm very, very grateful for how today planned out overall. This morning was just epic. It was probably the best feeling I've had on trail the whole time. I kind of even forgot I was doing this intense challenge and through hike, and just was in a cool place and happy to be there. So very, very grateful for that. This has been day 119. I'm still probably get a video or 2 in here, but if not, I'll see y'all tomorrow. All right, I'm coming into Thielsen Creek, which is where I'll collect my water, and then there's a steep side trail that I'll go up to camp. I already did pass one tent, so I was right about that. Somehow the guy was sleeping already. He had his tent like halfway open with the netting, bug net, so I could see it just snoring up a storm. Oh, what a welcome sight. I am so beat. What a day. I just hope my body is okay tomorrow. What a day. All right, I'll see you all later. Oh, I meant to say, as soon as I recorded that video, my shin started hurting like a 4 out of 10. It's unbelievable. Why? I'm not superstitious, but really, I don't know. It's right when I hit 30 miles, so I'm gonna rest. Hopefully, it'll be good tomorrow. Well, I got to the creek and looked up and said, whoa, so there's Mount Thielsen. Still some snow there. It's definitely cooler on this side, I feel it. So I think somewhere in there, the tent site, so I'm gonna try to climb up there, have a beautiful view of that in the morning, and whatever I can get tonight. This is pretty epic. Trying to find that camp spot. Got up top, 3 awesome solo hikers here, cowboy camping, and then just as beautiful as I was hoping for. So this will be the end of day 119. I will see y'all tomorrow.